everyone, we're actually here. Welcome to Crafting Cuppa. Hopefully, you guys are okay having borne with us. It's been an interesting morning. But yeah, we're here, we're good, everything's good. I have no idea if you guys were able to hear anything that I said earlier, so I'll just repeat it, and apologies if you're like, I've heard this already, but we're fine. So hi everyone. Welcome to Crafting Cuppa. We are making teacup pincushions for your crafting enjoyment. And yeah, so yeah, this is a great thing to do if you have like broken teacups, like this one. I apologize I didn't glue that because I wanted to show something later. But yeah, this one has like a broken handle. This one this one, if you heard earlier, it's cool, but this one looks fine, right? It's not food safe. This, I think something about the finish is like not good for food. So like maybe it has brass in it or something like that. But yeah, so how to keep anyone from ever accidentally using this for food? Teacup pincushion. So yeah, that's a cool thing to do. If you have something like that where you're like, oh, I love this so much, but I could never use it because of whatever reason. This is a good way to do it. You don't have to use a teacup either. This is a little sake cup, and honestly, its size kind of makes it great for just like carrying around. This one's just shoved into the side. It's not even like put into the pad itself. But yeah, little Daiso sake cup. My favorite one. Years ago, I had this that I found at like November 3rd at a spirit store, like stashed on the floor. It's just one of those random resin containers. I think it's supposed to be an ashtray. But instead of doing a pad like this, I just crocheted a brain. And it's exactly the right size to put the pin cushions or the pins in, and I can close it so my bird doesn't come and yank all the pins out and go running away with them. So that's the kind of container you can use too. I think I have a candle holder here that if we have time, we can do. So yeah, you don't have to use a teacup if you have other objects that you're like, I really want to use this. Go for it. It's the same method. You're just making a pad and a base and putting it all in. So yeah, that's where we are. The supplies are on the website. If anybody had any problems finding the pattern or the supplies list or anything like that, just let me know. This is a good, very good project to use scraps for. So like, okay, my fabric is now out of reach, but hold on. Yeah, I'm old. Okay, so like if you have scrap fabric, a lot of these are like leftover from old projects, like, you know, strips of stuff. Fat quarters are great. That's going to give you plenty of fabric to work with. Like here you go. Just find anything that you like, and if you're like, ooh, that looks really good together, be like, go ahead and use that scrap. The thing that you need to watch out for, just made a mess, is how much you're going to need. So the good way to find out is, okay, is measuring the teacup. So it's a little bit of math, but you can kind of wing it and you'll be fine. So the measurements you need to pay attention to are like the actual width of the rim. And here's a good example. This is a broken teacup with a good, really good break that goes right down the side, a bunch of chips. It's like losing its gilding on the edge there. I think it has some hairline cracks on the inside. It's got like an absolutely perfect saucer, so this will be perfect for filling with a random scrap of fabric. I have the selvage edge here too. It's not going to be seen. Totally fine to run into that, so you don't have to worry about if like, oh, you're just barely okay on the fabric. Use the selvage edge. You'll be fine. So yeah, when you measure, the good amount of math is, you can see this is the inside. I'm using the inside of the cup is just a little bit over 3 inches. I'm going to round it to 3, but I'm going to go over on my math. And then the depth, you know, estimate how far down you want it to go. Let's see if you can see that okay there. So that's about 1 inch of depth. I'm going to do 1.5 inches, like on my math, just to give it a little bit of extra for when it tucks under. The Like, I use a cardboard base just so I can get it in really easy. You don't have to use the cardboard base. You could just cinch it into a big ball and let it sit in. Using the cardboard base is nice if you want to do any like, I guess I didn't do any fun pleating, but like if you want to do like decorative folds or anything around the pleating, having a base to secure that into and actually stitch through it and pull it down, that works out a lot easier. Otherwise, you have to use a lot more stuffing and really get that pad to be thick and plump, and if you want to stitch through it and do a bunch of puffy things. But I like the cardboard base because it just like makes it really easy. So okay, back to the math. You're gonna want the diameter to be the additive of the depth across and then the depth again. So that's minimum. So we had about 3 inches and about 1.5, so that's like 6 inches. I went over on this because I wanted to make sure that I had enough. So a lot of people will do, I think on the pattern I actually wrote, measure the circumference and times it by 3. You'll be fine with that. So like 3 inches, we're just about at 9. So, okay, that must have been what I did. So here you go, 9 inches, and that'll be just fine. I think this one was actually the 2.5 measurement, but it's pretty shallow. This one's pretty deep. And actually I didn't use any glue on this one. It's just the cardboard base is hooking right underneath the lip and it's just secure. So, why waste materials? And this one has no cardboard base. It's just all the way down. And for this one, I'm going to pull it out because I didn't glue it either so you can see it. To help organize the way the tucks and the gathers go on the side, I added a second row of stitching right there, so you can see. I left the thread on there so you can see what's going on. And then later on, after the panel, I'm going to glue that down. But yeah, that helps the gathers stay nice and neat. You can exert like a lot of control if you really want to, and have like every pleat and everything perfectly where you want it. If you're taking a meditative time and working out some anxiety, making a cup, which believe me, sometimes that's really helpful. So yeah, there's that. Supplies wise, you need your container. You need some sort of stuffing. I've got fiberfill, which I'm running out of. And I also have steel wool. You want the kind of steel wool that doesn't have soap in it. So if you go get like a Brillo pad from the grocery store, they have like a soap already in that. You don't want that at all near your cups or anything like that. Or not near your cups, near any of your sewing products. You don't want that getting into like fabric over time. You don't want soap in there. But the steel wool is good if you want to sharpen your pins. So like, yeah, I see that fabric scraps make great stuffing. They totally do. I have a relative who makes dog beds, and she uses a bunch of fabric scraps that are just left over from everything. Like even tiny pieces that are like less than 1 inch square, she'll just like use all of those and she'll stuff them into the dog beds and then use that for stuffing. And then it's like, here's dog beds. So yeah, fabric scraps are also like fantastic stuffing. I also use a bunch of, I think the brain that you saw is stuffed with a bunch of yarn scraps. So like anytime you're making a yarn, anything, that tail that you've been left outward or that is left over, even if it's like only that long or whatever, like stuff into a jar. Eventually you have a big jar full of like yarn scraps and you can stuff that into something too. So there's ways to reuse all kinds of things in stuffing. It's fantastic. I've seen people do, I don't use it because I'm a little bit worried about mold with my bird. But people have used ground walnut shells for filling. I've heard of people, oh, leftover thread. Yes, leftover thread, totally. Same thing as the yarn. Um, and I've heard of people using like lavender. I've never actually found a pincushion with lavender stuffed in it. Sounds really nice. I don't know what it's like over time or what it's like using the pins, but you know, maybe you can give that a try if you want to. If you have like a good source of lavender and where you get like buckets of it, then yeah, go for it. I hear that's good. There's one other one that was really odd that somebody uses. It was like plastic pellets or something like that. I don't know about that. That sounds like it might. I don't know. Maybe it'll dull the pins over time. Like that gives me a weird feeling. So, but I guess keep an eye out for that if you experience it. Uh, Packing peanuts. I'm not sure. So packing peanuts in styrofoam, if you've ever had to cut styrofoam, you might notice that it dulls your blade super fast. So it might do the same thing for pins. And like packing peanuts are also I think it's polystyrene. I think it is, which you know, it sounds like it might work fine, but it might also dull the pin. So maybe test it first or make it so that you can remove the stuffing of the pincushion and replace it if you don't like it, if you're going to try packing peanuts. But yeah, like for a quick thing, like if you're in the middle of nowhere and you're like, I need somewhere to put my pin, I put pins into foam wake heads all the time and they do dull over time, but that's over like 5 or 10 years. But yeah, so yeah, I'm sure there's other stuff to fill things with that I'm not thinking of right now, but I those are the main ones that I've seen. Orange peel and rice are rice would totally work. Yeah, cloves. Okay, these are some neat suggestions. I'm gonna check on some of these. Orange peel. That sounds really my orange peel and cloves and rice could have like that. That sounds really aesthetic. I like that. I'm probably gonna see if I can find something like that at some point. I don't know. Do you have to watch out for like the rice absorbing moisture at all, or is it like fine on its own? I guess watch out for that if you're doing that on your own. Okay, so you need the stuffing, you need the thing. I'm doing the cardboard baster, that's optional. The steel wool is optional, but I do hear that helps sharpen the pins. Um, and I mean, I haven't used glue on this one. This one I will put glue into it later. Um, but you don't necessarily need the glue. There's no glue on the brain. I did that on purpose so that I could like take it out and mess with the brain because it's a brain. So yeah, that's obviously you need a sewing thread or sewing and needle and thread and scissors, whatever you need to cut out, and a measurement tool to measure your cup. And I'm probably forgetting something, but I'm probably good. So yeah, are you guys good to get started? Depends on your humidity. That makes sense. I've grown up in pretty humid places, so maybe that's what's angling my experience. Okay, so I think we're ready. All right, let's do this. I'm gonna move these aside so I don't like knock things down. I'll bring the brain over because he's fun. And okay. All right. So I've already cut my fabric out. When you're cutting yours out, do whatever way you make a circle that you're most comfortable with. I'm lucky enough to have this left over from art school. So I just like take the diameter, the 9 inches, divide that in half, and then trace it. But you can also do the method where you have like a string and like two pencils, and you hold one in the center, and you know move the other one around. I guess if you need me to demo that, let me know, and I will. So I'm going to move these aside. And I was totally using that one earlier, so it's got a thread on it. Actually, red might be a good color for you guys to see what I'm doing. Okay. And I pulled it right out of the needle. Oh, tiny hole. All right, sorry, hold on. Okay. So the first thing you're going to do once you've cut everything out is you're going to stitch like right all the way around the edge on your piece of fabric. So like there's no exact science, but I usually do it right about here. So that's just under half an inch. Okay. This is totally not enough thread, so I'm not going to use that one. Maybe there's enough thread on this one. Okay, can you guys see the black on the white? Okay. All right. You can double over the thread if you like. That's totally fine. I don't, just because I'm a little lazy. And then I stitch kind of a small stitch. So if you can see that, like that's about the size of stitch that I do. And you just run that all the way around, and it doesn't have to be super precise. You can just like be totally lazy with it. I don't knot my ends because I pull them through afterwards, and I'm usually careful about not pulling the ends back through. Nothing wrong with knotting the ends. So if you need to do that, go for it. It's totally fine. So yeah, this just chugs along for a little while. Let me see here. Definitely feel free to ask questions as you're going along, since this is kind of like the biggest area of dead space in the crafting thing. If you have a machine, feel free to use the machine on like a large basting stitch. That'll get it done very quickly. My sewing machines are still broken, so I'm not using that for this right now. Also, they're nowhere near where I am. So,
How did you break your sewing machines?
Okay. So I'm not exactly sure what caused it. But my main machine, I was actually making a headdress for Gramarye, the first Gramarye, and it was late at night. It was like 11. So it was like too late to like get any help. And for the first time, I was like, I've never used this fun decorative stitch on this machine. I'm gonna try it out. And so I moved the lever to it, and I heard this loud crack. And as soon as that happened, the lever that moves everything back became really, really like super smooth, like way too smooth, like very, very loose. And I went to go start stitching again, and no zigzag stitch. The straight stitch was like always going diagonal, and it wouldn't change to anything else. Like the width change wouldn't go. It like lost all its tension. So something happened, and it's an older machine. It's like all steel parts. So I can't really just go find like the gear for it. So I've been searching for the past couple of years to try to find the gear that cracked.
Oh no, that's horrible.
It's a little painful. Again, I don't know what caused it. I had recently oiled the machine, although I hadn't actually used the machine in a while, because I had dislocated my shoulder earlier that year. So like I had oiled it up, and then I had let it sit, and part of me is wondering if I did something like during that I don't know, maybe like gummed something up or something. And oh yeah, but this was my mother. This is kind of like an heirloom like piece for my family. This was my mother's machine, back when she like was sewing. I like she also like bought it from San Francisco, and like all the sewing shops knew the machine in San Francisco, and it was like because they knew her and all this stuff back in the 70s. She used to make like costumes for she was in a belly dancing troupe in the 70s that would meet at Stern Grove, and like she made everyone's costumes. And it's kind of funny, I didn't know this for years, But yeah, like, so everyone knew that same machine, and it was just like, oh yeah, okay. But all those shops are closed now. So I can't find if anybody still had parts for it or anything. The area where all these were was on Geary Street, like as you go out towards the beach. And now I think after that they turned into restaurants, and then after restaurants they started to turn into apartments because that's just the way the city's been. Um, so yeah, it's been kind of a journey. Um,
Is your mom's sewing background what got you into the
Probably.
crafting?
Yeah, I'm assuming it is. I actually don't remember when I started. I just always remember sewing, which is kind of the funny part. So it must have been like my mom was probably sewing, and I do remember being like, I feel like I was 3 years old. I don't know why I feel like I was 3 years old, but we were at a park in San Francisco, and she had like this cardboard box of like fabric, and she was doing some sewing, and my brother was like playing around on the play gym thing, and I just remember like leaving the sand, coming over, and just starting to stitch random pieces of fabric together. So I knew how to sew by then, I guess. But yeah, it was just like, I'm just gonna stitch whatever fabric together. um yeah, so
That's
like
so cute.
yeah, just, I don't remember why I was doing it. I just remember like doing it. It was really funny. And every now and then, like if I'm going through a bunch of fabric, like I'll find stuff that's like randomly stitched together with like, huge, like big old stitches and everything in like no discernible pattern. They just like go everywhere. So that's, like kind of funny. I'd be like, did I do this? I probably did this.
That's a good way to kind of get familiar with
I
hand
mean,
stitching.
yeah, like you're just doing the action. You're not even like paying attention to like like you're not worried about the finished product. You're just like, I'm gonna action, and it's like, yeah, that gets you somewhere. It's kind of interesting when you think about the idea of just like trying without worrying about the result.
Oh my gosh, I totally understand. I just started crocheting again.
Yay.
I I used to crochet in high school and then I just kind of stopped for a really long time and
Yeah.
I see all these people making awesome stuff on TikTok, so I'm like I'm going to start. And I decided to like not try and make anything, just,
Yeah,
you
just
know.
just stitch,
Yeah,
just yeah, it's kind of like just deciding to go for a walk, with no goal. You're just like, I'm just gonna do something. And like you end up getting somewhere and you're like, whoa, you know?
totally.
Yeah. Okay. So what you guys just saw, I finished stitching around the edge and I just started to gather the edge in a little bit. You don't need to go all the way just yet. I've just been like starting to pull. I pulled both ends just to make sure one end doesn't go through. If you did a knot, you don't really need to worry about that, but I I just like doing it this way. So there's nothing wrong with doing it the other way either. But yeah, Jamie, I hope you enjoy your crocheting. That is always really nice. Like, you guys know I enjoy crocheting, so
I chose to start crocheting at a time where I'm starting to have joint pain, so I'm kind of kicking myself for that. But
okay. I know what you're talking about. Take breaks. If you have any heat sources, putting that on wherever your hands hurt helps.
yes,
Yeah, I totally know what you're talking about.
I'm
Um,
like, okay, I can't crochet for 2 hours straight. I could do like 30 minutes and I gotta calm down.
right, exactly. Just like put it down. I, I'm lucky that I have a bird that likes to interrupt me, so I think he actually helps me pace myself.
Smart.
Yeah, he's the smart one. I'm like, I'm just going. And he's like, no, he'll take my crochet hook. He'll just take it. I guess that's that then. Question. I think my stitches are too long. I usually base for sewing clothes, which are much bigger. Totally valid. Well, I guess it depends on how big your stitch is. I mean, if you're doing like an inch, that might be a little too big, but you can try it out. I've never done it that large, so maybe it'll do something. Um, the most biggest thing you want to watch out for is that when you gather it tight, that the gaps on the side aren't too big. Like this is a very small version of what I'm talking about, but like this part right here, make sure that's not like gaping out like that, because then the stuffing will just come back through. But if it's, you know, small enough to just like get it to gather a little bit, you know, and you end up with like basically the start of like a mop cap or something like that, you'll be fine. So like if your stitches are twice as large as mine are, I think you'll be okay. But if they're bigger than that, it might start to be a little funny. So I guess just be careful there. You could always try it out, and if it doesn't work, you could just start over. It's not that bad. Um, these are pretty quick too. So like, let's see, start pattern or repair manual for ooh. Yeah, yeah. The only sewing machine shop that I think I can go to for this machine is it's way across the bay, and it's a trek getting there. So I feel you. I have the manual for my machine, but the problem is the part, and so I'm like, well, but yeah, honestly, if okay, so I watch BattleBots. I love BattleBots, and I see them making all these custom parts like through like Send Cut Send or you know businesses like that, and I'm like, is there a way that I can like you know like either scan or like redesign the part so it's the same as the part that I'm missing and get a new part cut if this is possible? Like, will this work? Um, which you know, if anyone like figures that out on their machine, like that might actually be like a good thing to for people to start like sharing, like, hey, I have like the file for this part, we can start fixing it together. We could just get it cut from a company. um I guess if anyone's ever done like car antique cars or anything like that, there's kind of a similar thing. A friend of mine's dad has like an old like a 60 something Barracuda, and he knows every other person who owns that car because when a part breaks, they have to like find somebody who still has a part that's not broken, and they have to like actually recast the part and then send it to each other. So it's kind of funny that like we might actually be getting there with sewing machines if you have like a really like important machine that's special to you. Okay, so now is when I'm going to start stuffing it with some stuffing. I like to pull out just a little bit and give like a flat layer. That's going to be the surface one, and that's just how it makes it to be really smooth like this is you have that flat layer. This one I didn't do any flat layer with, and you can see it's a little bit puffier. Um, so you know, like a good flat layer will help like make everything nice and just even on top. So yeah, just pull out a little bit. This doesn't have to be a perfect circle or anything like that. It's just, you know, just an even lid for everything like that. And that's going to go in first. So that's going to be right here on top. Okay. And then if you have steel wool, don't put it in just yet. You want a couple more layers of, sorry if this is loud.
It's not bad at all.
That's good.
I can also talk over it too, because whenever I talk, it cuts out your sound.
That's actually perfect. Yeah, I have to watch out for whenever I crinkle stuff because that's like how to summon my bird. Um, and he'll come over and he'll start like taking whatever's crinkling. Like if there's bubble wrap, watch out. Like we have to hide that from him, and like Paul has to open packages like really quickly in order to make sure Banner doesn't like come and be all like bubble wrap. And you're like, no bubble wrap, Banner, no bubble wrap.
He sounds like a hoot.
He's a character. I never expected like him to be so, because he was always afraid of everything as like a baby bird, and so like now he's just like, yeah, and you're like, oh my god.
We have some chatters asking what kind of bird you have.
Oh, okay. If we finish this early enough, I'll see if he's willing to come over and like approve the design. He is a Maximilian Pionus. He is about, well, okay, I'm gonna do it on this screen because he's just over 13 inches. He's really big for his species, and he's kind of like a small Amazon. But he doesn't act like a Maximilian Pionus. He acts more like a cake mixed with a Goffin's cockatoo with a tiny bit of the male cockatiel, um, like like, haha, I'm bigger than I think I am kind of attitude. So, and he's great. He's a sweetheart, but boy, he has a lot of birds sometimes.
I've never met a bird who doesn't have a very strong personality, you know?
That's true. Like, do they remember when they were dinosaurs? Like, is this a carryover? You know, they're like, hey, I used to run this place.
DB or said caudacity.
Cod. Yes, exactly. The caudacity.
Luna! Oh crap, I didn't realize I wasn't muted. I'm yelling at my cat, sorry y'all.
Hilarious. It's really on topic though.
It is. My oldest 9-year-old cat Luna has just decided she is gonna scratch on whatever she wants now because
Yeah,
she's 9.
nice.
I'm like, can you stop? I just bought this memory foam bed, and
Oh
she's like,
no. Like, you know what I've seen? I've been.
yeah.
Okay, so I've got like a pretty good pad going on here. It's, I think, unmushed. It's like about, what do we got here? It's about just over an inch tall. So that's gonna be pretty good. I'm gonna do the steel wool this time so you guys can see it. For the steel wool, I'm gonna take off my wrist cuffs because that does not sound like they would be friends. Okay, so steel wool. Oh, I got so if you can see it, it's the very fine grade. There's like 6 or 7 different grades of steel wool. You want to stay away from the coarse ones, but like the fine, the very fine, there's like a very, very fine, and if I remember it, I think there's like an ultra fine with like 3 zeros. You probably don't want the ultra fine, but like any of the, like the 3 zero, the 1 0, anywhere in there is probably going to be okay. I was limited by what my store had, so but this feels like it's going to be pretty good. I have one with the steel wool in it already, and it feels the same. Um, okay, so be careful pulling out the steel wool if you have snags in your nails, because yours definitely goes right in that. And just heads up, this is a really old pair of scissors. I mean, you can probably see it's even got some rust spots and everything. That's why I'm not afraid using it on the steel wool. I like it shouldn't be that bad. I've actually heard about people sharpening their scissors by cutting steel wool with it. But you if you have like a nickel finish, or if you have one of those like titanium finishes on your some dust got on my apron here. If you have like one of those scissors that has like titanium finish, that will probably strip it off. So be careful with that if you're doing it. Okay, so I just cut off like a little bit here. I could probably use more, but just gonna see how this goes. I'm gonna make it into like a little bit of a circle, and I want that in the center. So that way I have the option of like pinning to the side if I don't want anything steel wooled, and then I can go into the center if I want the steel wool to be like in there. I'm just gonna test this. You can see about the size comparison. This was about yay thick. So all of this is going to compress and go inside. So I don't need too much steel wool. Wonder if I want a little bit more. I think I do. Okay, I'm going to pull out a little bit more of that.
Hey Molly, I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick.
No worries.
I'll be right back.
Okay, thank you for that stuff. Okay, so here's just a little bit more steel wool, just for good measure, because it's a deep cup. Okay. Okay, this is a little flaky, so be careful. Okay. If you have like a vacuum, like a handheld vacuum, not a bad idea to vacuum up your area afterwards, since if you're using some of the like other grades of steel wool, like the very, very fine ones, you could probably get a little everywhere. Okay, so now I'm covering the rest of that with the rest of that pad. there. And there's no real science to how much you use. It's just whatever feels about right. You do want the pad to be a little bit firm. So like, I don't know if you could, I don't know if you can see how that's bouncing. It's pretty firm. This one's less firm. So I think that's like a pretty good uh, gradient of like how firm you want it to be. All right, now we can start gathering this closed. Jamie's going to come back and be like, what? You finished? Okay, so I made mine extra long. Oh, I'm sorry. Saha. Okay, so now I'm going to put the cardboard thing down at the base, the bottom, just to help like keep everything in, help keep it organized and help keep the bottom kind of flat, and it helps push up against the pad also. Okay. Oh, one thing I totally should have mentioned, if you wanted to do that second layer of stitching, you would have done that before putting the stuffing in. Right now, if I was going to go back and do that, which I'm not going to because I think we're getting a little low on time, but I would have, like, I can still just open this up like that, take everything out, like flatten it out again, just do that really quick and then put everything right back in. It's not a big deal if you're like, oh, I forgot a step. You're cool. Don't worry. Okay, so now we're tightening that up, and here's my needle. Okay. I'm just going to cinch this closed. And can you guys see this okay with the black and everything? Making sure I haven't cut off or if I'm zoomed out too far or anything like that. Okay, just gonna do a simple knot, like a little square knot to help keep that cinched nice and closed. All right, nice. That was a good mistake. I snapped my thread. So let's see, how do I fix this? I've got one side of the thread still in. I'm going to try to just quickly go through the other holes that are still there from the first side. I'm going to pick up, yeah, keep this from going out anymore. Okay. Come on. Come on. Okay, we're going to pull this through a little bit. And hopefully I have enough thread to do that. Now be careful, because if you knot your thread, that can still totally happen. So I'm just going to, I can actually see my old thread holes. So I'm just gonna do some little surgery on here. It'll be fine, it's okay, we're fine.
I'm back, by the way.
Hi! Okay, this time I'm gonna keep a hold. Just so you are up to date, Jamie, I snapped my thread. So this is not part of the normal process.
Oh no.
Cool. It's cool. I'm glad it happened. People could see what to do if we were like, no.
That's true.
Yeah, so this will be fine. We're fine. We're good.
It's the theme of the day.
Dude, it so is. So yeah, I am trying to keep an eye on the time, so don't worry, you guys. Might have to do some quicker decorating, or I think I had originally left enough time to do a second one, the smaller, like the candle holder, so we should still be fine. Okay, so just getting those back in. We're good. It's good. And keeping an eye on this one to make sure it doesn't come back out again. Whee!
DB or said, OMG, a candle holder. One would be so dope and gothic.
Like there's nothing saying that you can't have like unusual shaped containers. I mean, I guess skull, but like yeah, like the candle holder I had was this little one for like a tea light. But yeah, like if you have like a big pillar or something like that, you're using it like as a pincushion, like tall, that could be really cool. The only thing I'd watch out for is its stability. You want one with like a solid base. Like if you have yourself a really good gothic candlestick, it's probably gonna be heavy at the base. So you'll probably be fine. If not, like you could if you can find a weight of some sort to just like stuff in the bottom of the candlestick, that'll help. Uh, or a way to like fix it down to the surface that you're using it on. So like some sort of adhesive or a clamp. Okay.
Reesekins is asking if you could do this with hot glue if you're not great at
Ooh.
sewing.
Probably. The main thing is if you're using hot glue, you probably definitely need to use a cardboard base, but I don't see why not. The hard part would be uh, you'd have to like kind of eyeball how you'd have to do everything with the circle flat and you have to eyeball how you're putting it all in. And then you kind of have to be like gluing it to the cardboard base and that'll have to stay open a little bit because you'll need the space. Um, as you're going, like do like the four directions first and then do the diagonals of those and then come in just to make sure you have like an even closure going on. Um, but I don't see why that wouldn't work. I've never tried it, but I imagine it should be okay as long as you're just, take your time and you're careful about keeping the stuffing inside. You might not be able to stuff it as firmly because the glue might be a little weak in terms of its securedness to the the cardboard part, but I think you could get it to work. Okay, so now I'm cinching that closed again, and now we're back where we were. Okay, so I went over my stitch once, so I can't tie it the way I did before, and that was just because I had to, because of the way that lined up. So I'm just going to stitch through, like from end to end to help close it instead. And that's just going to help give more tension. I'm just going to go around the whole thing doing that. Maybe go the crosswise here. Okay, it just came off my nails. So we're going to call that done. Okay, that's pretty well closed. That's staying. We're fine. Okay, so I'm just tying this into like a square knot just to keep it closed.
Nari says this is very relaxing.
Oh my God, I'm so glad. We all need relaxation right now. This is the time of year where things like suddenly get a lot of energy. So like I always have to remind myself to take a moment. I don't know what it is. I mean, okay, I am a May baby, so maybe it's like a birthday thing, but like anytime, especially like with school, May would roll around. Like even though I was asleep, like on the bus going into school, like the sun coming up, like through the window of the bus would always be all like, the energy. Everything's happening right now. Okay, so there's the closed little guy. It's all cinched up and we're good. I didn't do the second row stitching, so we've got like a pretty like kind of puffy one going on. I probably could have stuffed it more. It's firm, but it's a little less thing. Oh, and I'm noticing now that I guess when I cut it out, I kind of centered it on a rose. So when you're doing your original pattern, whatever part you start measuring the center of the circle from will end up being the center of the pad. So you can use that if you have like a really large pattern. Oh, here's a good example. Okay. Yeah, so this one has like these large roses here. Unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to get a circle with one in the center. But if you had a bigger piece and you started measuring from the center, that would end up being right there on the thing. I guess if I were to use this piece on something, I would have to have 3 like equidistant on the edges. So yeah, that's how things can go. Okay, so at this point, you can test fit this, and because it's wide, you're going to have to kind of squeeze a little, but that's where that base helps position it in. And actually, the tension on the base is just enough that I can actually use this without glue. But also, you can see the depth of it is kind of what those other stitches would have helped organize. So I'm just going to kind of use my hands to kind of distribute that evenly. You can kind of smush it around to get the stuffing on the inside to try to go where you want it. Okay, so that's a really good test fit, actually. That looks pretty nice. I can be a little more picky about like the tucks and everything, but yeah, that's nice. So yeah, you can see here how it's you know, it's kind of sitting in nicely. The pattern works out really well. It's pretty firm. Do a bunch of tests with it. Ooh, that felt good. Yeah, okay. You can test to make sure it's actually hitting the steel wool too. The more stuffing you put in after the steel wool, the higher it'll push the steel wool. So if you want the steel wool to be really high, you can push it up higher that way. This one, it's going in about, okay, it's going in about there before it hits the steel wool. So I can like push it in really deep if I want to sharpen them, or I could just leave it on the surface if I, don't want to deal with the steel wool at the time. So yeah, that's working out really well. Okay, so just to show you guys, when you're gluing, your container will determine where you're gluing. So I'm not going to glue on this one just in case we need to do some stuff and I need to show you, but I'll put it like on the cup, not on the pad, but it'll be the equivalent points of like down here or up here. So I'll be putting glue actually on this one because the bottom sits up a little bit. I'd probably do glue right down here in the center of the bottom, and then probably about 4 dots, maybe 5 dots around the rim, right about there. But the nice thing about the cardboard is that it holds it really nicely, and you don't necessarily need the glue. So if you're worried about fumes because your bird likes to get into things, then you don't really need the glue. Okay, the glue just makes things more sturdy. Okay, so we're just going to do that for now. Ta-da! So that's the basic thing. I don't like that fold, so I'm going to redo that. Okay. Okay, there. That's a good basic tuck. So yeah, so that's the basic. And then from there, that's where things get kind of fun. You can start adding in like a bunch of decoration stuff. And that's just easy. That's like if you want to do stuff that goes pretty deep, it's okay to do your gluing after. Like this one, I actually sewed these on, and I didn't glue it because the cardboard really just snapped right in. But you put these on before putting the pad in. This one I did after. I just like you can see it's actually kind of sitting out because I didn't tie this on because I wanted to make sure you could see it. But yeah, I just sewed that to the pad afterwards, and then I can pull it. I just did a couple loop stitches, and then you could pull it tight there like that, and then it's on. Yeah, You could crochet a little accessory for your thing. It doesn't have to be like a pre-made thing. Let's see, I've got random stuff here. Just this is another great thing to use, just like little bits of trim that you have lying around. Um, Things that are too small to use for other stuff is perfect. God, I've got a whole bunch of other stuff here. You know, like old roses and things. So let's see, what are we going to put on this? Ooh, there's a tassel. White's pretty good. Okay, I think I like the white better because of the extra white on that plate. But yeah, so you can just start decorating. Oh, haha. These are nice. Okay. And actually, personally, I think I wish I put more stuffing in this, so I might go back and do that later. But let's get this done for now. Okay, so what the heck is that? Huh. Okay, I don't know what this is. It looks like a tiny piece of porcelain that maybe came off the cup. Oh, it did. It came off of right here. Okay. Well, I guess this is definitely not a food usable cup. Okay. Watch out for that, I guess, if you have a very broken cup. None of these other ones have chipped on me while I've been doing it, but that one has. So I guess watch out. Yeah, this one was from a thrift store, which a lot of stuff this in our area this fall the thrift stores have been getting full of a lot of things. A lot of people have had damage and they've had to just like start over, which has been really sad. But their stuff is going to the thrift stores, so if you're looking for stuff, keep an eye out. So let's see, what should I even do to this? I have this like old piece of flour that actually looks really cute with them. I should get some thread. Let's see. Found a dream. Ooh, very nice. That's fantastic. Like when you find something that you've been looking for forever, and it always like when you find something that you weren't expecting to find too. Um, it's a little extra nice. Okay, and this is the fun part. You can just snip off some thread and get a needle and then just start putting things in. Okay, so this is missing its center, so I probably should have gotten a bead or something to put in there, but do I have anything? These are not beads. Okay, it's gonna be a little weird. I don't have a bead, but I have a tiny flower. So I'll use one of these. These are very old. Yeah, I love some of these have come from like art reuse supply stores, and sometimes they come with their original labels, and it's always really fun to find something that it's like a package, and then it's like, oh, by the way, this was 18 cents, and you're all, oh my gosh, how old is this? Yeah, no, I love that. Okay, this one has a smaller. Okay, so I'm gonna go into the hole of this. Can you guys see okay? Okay, I'm gonna go through this and act like it's a bead. It has like a stitch here at the bottom. So I'm just gonna go across that. Like that. And I'm gonna go back out through the hole. bits at the bottom of these flowers. I don't know where these flowers came from. I literally found them on the ground in my place. So fortunately, I don't have a wreck on those. But yeah, if you find like a discarded flower. Okay, open the petals here. Is that a good rotation? Maybe go to the side more. There. That's kind of neat. Okay, we'll do that. Okay, I'm just going to tie this on the bottom just to help keep it. Actually, looking on that, it looks like it's made of paper, so I'm not going to tie it at the bottom. I'm going to put it through the fabric first. And this tuck's a little funny. I can go over that one. It's pretty chipped right there. That might be a spot to like tell it to be careful of. That one's got a split there. I can also rotate this entire thing because I haven't glued it down yet.
Jupiter Star Child is asking, is there a way to tell if what you want to use to hold your pincushion is too delicate or damaged to use?
Ooh, that's a good question. I haven't found something that's been too delicate, but if you pick it up, like say if you pick the cup up, and if you notice like a bunch of hairline cracks, kind of like this one has, but it hasn't done it if I've done this, you get it like a little squeeze, and if you hear sound, I'd be afraid of that. I wouldn't use that. Like if you hear like a kind of a grating, it's hard to describe the sound, but you know it when you hear it. You're like, that's not good. I think that's what I would avoid using. I'm just gonna tuck this in here. Does that help? I hope. Like, yeah, kind of creaking. Yeah, creaking. Yeah, creaking. That's the word. Okay, so if you want to be really quick and do this one stitch, you can just, these are wrapped around each other. Okay. If you've ever made hats, you can do it just like that. You can just tack it on with one if you want to. If you want to be really secure, you can like go back through the hole again. You can go back through this again. Oh, I went through the ribbon. That was not, okay. I'm gonna go the other direction just for extra security. Oh no, no. And where's my original? There it is. Okay, hopefully you guys can see this okay. I'm just keeping the thread straight and untangled. I mean, not really straight, just untangled. As I'm pulling that down, because I lifted that up, I got to put it back in through the petals. And make sure the thread is not stuck on the petals. Wait, did I go back through the hole? Oh, no, I didn't. That's why. Okay. It's a day. Okay, back out through the hole at the bottom. Okay. Just being extra precise because I might as well show you guys. And I'm going to do one more stitch down through the fabric down here. Okay. Okay, so I've got two sets of stitching going up into the thing around the object in the center and then back down, and you can just at that point pull it tight and tie it off. And it's wrapped around itself. It's not trying to pull tight. There we go. Okay, now I can just tie that off. 2 is fine. I do 3 out of habit. I used to do 4. I used to stitch people's skin because I was a surgical assistant in dermatology. So it's like a habit from that. And I always feel like really weird if I don't do at least 3. I'm just like, something's wrong. So I always do 3. But I think you're fine with 2. It's most threads won't come undone. And then you don't have to do this. You could just snip it off. I always bury at least one side. Just because that's me. And they can just like snip off the ends. And you've got a little flower on that. I'm going to rotate the whole thing because I want that to be over there. And then you could just keep going, like putting on more things. We've got like a bow over here. We can add that. There's this trim if you want like trim to be around the end. I made this one a little too puffy for, I think, to really look nice with the trim. But like this one, for example, because it's really stiff, that actually might look nice with the trim. The trim bordering the bottom here like this. And that's an example of something that's easier to do before the pad gets put on there, because then you can stitch it all, like you pick the pad up. Yeah, I can't get that one out. Like you'd pick the pad up, you'd stitch it right around the base where it needs to go. You can even, when the pad is in here, you can test it. You can pin it into place with like some holding pins, be like, that's where I need to put it. Then you can pick the pad up and then stitch it into place, and then put it back down when you're finally gluing it on. Okay, so let's see. What time is this supposed to be over? Are we supposed to, wait, were we supposed to be done at 12:15? Did I go over?
No, I think
Okay.
you're good till 1:30.
Oh, shoot. Wait, really?
Yeah, let me check just
Oh,
in
wait,
case.
sorry.
Yeah, you are.
1:30.
Or 1:30 our time, so you have 10 minutes.
I have 10. Okay. Like, wow. This is the first time I've been so early. Okay. Very good. We're good. So yeah, I can just keep decorating. Does anyone have any questions while we're going? Oh, one thing, and I didn't do this because they never arrived. I was gonna get magnets to show you how like you could put magnets on these, but I never got the magnets. So yeah, I guess there's been an Amazon delay. So it'll kind of differ depending on your container. But like if you want to put magnets in the cup and on the dish so that they can go clink and stay secure, that totally works. One other thing too is that if you have a magnet down here, when the pins are sitting on the thing, they'll kind of like gravitate towards the center. So you can use this as like an extra like additive, like, ooh, my pins are all going where they need to go. Personally, I don't like using magnets because my pins will get magnetic over time. And then when you're, say, if you have a bunch of pins in your fabric and you're sewing, and suddenly you get close to your sewing machine foot, all of a sudden the pin goes to the sewing machine foot and doesn't stay where it was, and you have like a gather in your sewing. So I shy away from magnets whenever possible. But if you want magnets, totally cool, and totally use them. Lots of people love them. So don't let me like limit you. But like on this cup, I would put the magnet on the outside right here. And on the saucer, I would put the magnet on the bottom right here. And that I would use either E6000 or hot glue is probably going to be fine. Hot glue at E6000. E6000 works to ceramic great. So that's one benefit of that. But use that outside. Those fumes are no joke. I don't do them indoors, especially if it's like raining. I guess if you have to use them indoors, like use them in a place that you can close off, like a bathroom, and then like glue them in there, and then leave the objects in there, and close the door to your main living place, and then leave the vent on or the window open or whatever you have to do for like maybe overnight even. I mean, just whatever you can do until the fumes are gone, and then you won't have like a horrible migraine, which is no fun. You don't want those. Um, okay, so let's. All I can think of is the bird. I want to see the bird. Okay, I'll leave time for bird. We'll see if. Let me see if I can get bird. But yeah, is there any questions before bird?
Hillary says she's really happy with hers. It was fun, and she's
Yes.
happy to use some of her scraps.
Awesome. I know, right? Anytime you use scraps, you're just like, you feel really fulfilled. You're like, I knew I kept these for a reason.
Right.
Yeah.
Anybody who does this should share it on our Discord or
Please.
on Instagram.
Yeah. Instagram, tag Rose Foray. Like, I want to see too. Like, these are so fun. And it's like, you don't have to have something light like this. You can go like dark like this. I didn't have any scraps of like velvet, but it'd be cool to do like black velvet with this and have like, just do all black with the dark silver. Like, yeah, seriously, like you could do, yeah, like if you're using velvets, I think it's okay to use stretch velvet. I've never had a problem, but that might be a little like sometimes needles, if they bend a little at the tip, they can pull like stretch velvets. But plain velvets I've had no problem with. So I mean, I guess be careful, but I've had no problem with plain velvets and needles. As long as that backing is like a good solid back, it's not like gonna run, you'll be fine. But yeah, you can do like a bunch of, take your time, like do a bunch of little like decorative folds or everything. You can, if you have the cardboard base, you can stitch the top of the center all the way down to the cardboard base, and then you can like twist the whole side, so you'll get a whole bunch of like twists going on. I wish I had time to like demo that or make an example. So if I get some time soon, I will try that, because I have another one of these silver cups. And if I find some black velvet, maybe I'll actually get some black velvet to try that out, because now I'm thinking about it. Okay, let me see if my partner might be upstairs with Bird, so let me find out if he's there. Yeah, I guess are there any other questions?
Repto Jane says, wow, that is an important piece of info regarding the magnets and pins. I never thought of that.
Sorry. Thank you. I'm like, I almost forgot that. So yeah, that's a whole thing. Yeah, like I've had I've had that happen. I'm just like, why? And yeah, it turns out it was because they were with a magnet like the whole time. So yeah, and I had a pair of scissors too that I kept on, they have like for knives, like strips of magnets that you can like screw to surfaces like a wall or something. Back in college, I had one of those in my like dorm room, and I was always slapping my scissors like on that. I'd be like, here, I'll always know where they are. Those also got magnetic, so I was cutting the fabric, and the pins that I had like in place to hold like the pattern and stuff would go right at it, and I'd be like, oh no, what's going on. Okay, he might have actually left to go get food, so if I'm gonna go get the bird, it'll take me a moment. Do we have time?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, all right.
I can entertain.
Okay, good. I will leave. I will leave all of these for your viewing enjoyment. And then we'll come see how much chaos he decides to wage as soon as he comes back. Okay, I have to take off my wrist stuff because he hates my wrist cuffs and rings. So, okay. Oh, I gotta hide this. He will lose his mind. Okay. All right. It's bird time. I'll be right back.
Yay for bird time. Does anyone have any questions about our event so far? If not, that's totally fine. And just as an update, Meredith did add the Rose Cafe mascot stickers of Bunday and Strawberry. So you can get those on our coffee shop at ko-fi.com/roseforay/shop. Off topic, does anyone else have problems with their cats getting into their petticoats? My cats get into everything personally. Especially, so I just started crocheting, and my youngest cat he's just enamored with yarn. Like, he loses it. He would give it all up for yarn. So it's been a struggle. Thank you for enjoying everything. Cats freaking love petticoats. Every time I take mine off after an event, my cat immediately gets all up in it. Yeah, I think mine would if they were warmer. Oh my gosh, I hear the bird.
Okay, I gotta put this back over the chair. All right. Hi, buddy. Say hi to
Oh my
everyone.
gosh, I'm gonna figure this.
Uh, so he's very excited. You want to sit here? You want? Oh, you a good boy? Yeah. Okay. There's Bird. Sorry to curl the ends of my hair. Hi, everyone. Oh, so you okay? Sorry. Hi, everyone. This is Banner. Oh my god. Oh my god. Look. Look. Oh. You okay? This is Banner, everyone. So yeah, he's a decent. Oh,
Yeah, so cute.
Not for Banner. Not for Banner. Okay. He will open soda cans, but not by the top. He bites in through the side. So I have to like watch out to make sure he doesn't do that. Hi. Are you a good boy? Who's a good boy? Here he is. Awesome. I know, buddy. I know he kind of is like a mascot. There was I think it was Grammary. A panel I was doing at Grammary where he was singing in the background like the entire time. He was just like going. Just like, okay. I know, bud. Yeah? Do you like these? Oh, what are you thinking? I know, I try to keep you away from my stuff. What you doing? You can see he's just checking them out. What about this one? Oh, it's your size. Yeah? No? Okay. So yeah, this is Banner. He's a cutie. He's what are you doing? You gonna say you want to talk to anyone? No? Okay. Yeah, he's always is he called Banner because yes. And also he sometimes like right now he's not doing it, but he has Hulk mode. Where if he's like really like into like if he's here we go. If this he's gonna start dancing because I'm talking. Yeah, no, if there's something he's really like in rage mode about, he like doubles in size, which is pretty great. He puffs out everywhere and then he starts marching back and forth. So like it's pretty Hulk mode, and he is Hulk green. You can see that he's green and purple. You're such a good boy. Yeah, you are. Oh, you're a good boy. That's right. So yeah, here's Banner. But yeah, this is also why, because he has a sensitive respiratory system, and he's got quite a range in his voice. I don't want to hurt like his little lungs, so like he whenever I'm doing anything with like the iron, he stays like in a separate room with some air venting. I always do my gluing and stuff outside. I do my dyeing outside. Like anything with fumes is going to be outside. So I know I've got a cashew. Oh, you're a good boy. Oh, can you eat this over here? Please don't make a mess. Here you go, bud. Oh, good boy. There you go. Yeah, I had to give him a cashew because he's hi. Okay, so yeah, this is Banner. He's talking. We probably have to go soon, don't we? Let's see. Are there any other questions before I go while I was gone?
There weren't any while you were gone.
Oh, cool. Okay, awesome. Anyone else have any last questions before we finish up? Awesome, cool. Yeah. Hey, I hope you guys enjoy these. I definitely want to see what you've made. And yeah, like this one will always be my favorite. But like, yeah, if you don't sew and if you crochet, feel free to crochet like a little it doesn't have to be a braid, but like a bundle, like do a little like sphere and you'll be fine. You can do that too. So yeah, everything's great. I forget what panel is up next. I was gonna check it out beforehand and I forgot.
That's okay. It's Kawaii Crust and Kisses. an
Oh,
intro to Japanese cafe culture.
that actually sounds really interesting. I remember that panel now. Yeah, like I look forward to seeing that because I know nothing about this and I want to know. Oh my god, thank you so much. Yeah, if anybody has any ideas of something I should do next, like feel free to tag me and say something. Yeah, Jupiter, I'm going to very much enjoy your panel. This is gonna be great. And later on, I know we have the fashion walk, which I'm very excited to see, and tea parties later on, and the fundraiser, the telethon, the rosathon later on. So there's a bunch more content to still enjoy. So yeah. All right. Um, anything else to add as he's you want to come back? Oh, you're such a good boy. Yeah. Anything else to add, I guess?
Awesome. Thank you, Molly.
No problem.
And thank you for showing us your bird.
Yeah. Yeah. Spanner, say hi to everyone. Say bye to everyone. Okay. We'll leave and I'll see if he'll actually say bye to you guys as we leave. We'll say bye bye.